Good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware Stores. They're getting ready for winter. Are you getting ready for winter? It's Long Island. They're Long Island's largest rock salt provider, and they have all your winter storm supplies, from shovels and spreaders to all sorts of products that can help you melt away the snow and ice. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, 631-756-1125. And they have the best prices around. We are starting to see the winds slacken off. Actually, they slackened off overnight. They're slackening off a bit more today. So the worst of that is over, of course. We are dealing with some cloud issues in some areas, and that's going to be impacting temperatures this afternoon, which will stay mainly in the 40s and even some 30s as you head up north into the Hudson Valley and into parts of upstate New York and central New England. But you start to go from New York City southward, where there should be a bit more in the way of sun this afternoon, particularly in southern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, down into Maryland and Virginia. You can see temperatures here getting up to the mid 50s to maybe even a few 60-degree readings around the Washington, D.C. area. So we are on our way to much better weather conditions and more in the way of sunshine over the next 5 days. I think we'll have sunshine each day from now through Sunday. The only issue may come later as we get late in the week and into the weekend if we get into any kind of marine flow. That might produce a situation where we have to deal with some low clouds and fog, but I don't think it's the same as it was uh, over the last couple of weeks, where we had that long stretch where we were dealing with low clouds and fog every day. So Wednesday's highs should get to 60 or better in many areas. Some spots to the south go down into Maryland and Delaware, Northeast Virginia, up around 64 or 5. Same for southern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey. 60 or so in and around New York City, mid to upper 50s, Hudson Valley. And then Thursday and beyond, we should be in the mid to upper 60s pretty much every day. And I think we're going to start to see a few 70-degree readings showing up as we get into Friday and particularly on Saturday. And it's always possible that these forecast numbers could wind up being a little bit too low if we have enough sunshine. There's that little stick of clouds that I'm talking about from the Great Lakes southeastward to just off of southern New England. It's a narrow band. If you're on either side of that, you're getting some sunshine, but if you're in that band, you're dealing with more clouds. It's not we're not seeing any precipitation out of this, which is a positive. The radar is relatively quiet, just a little bit of very light scattered activity in parts of the Northeast, and except for the Northwest and a few showers that are starting to pop up in parts of Northeast Texas and Northwest Louisiana. The weather across much of the nation, and that includes, by the way, the great state of Florida, is quiet from the standpoint of precipitation. So really, it's this very weak cold front that doesn't have much to it. It just basically falls apart. And then finally, the high that is down across the southern states will be taking over for the next 4 or 5 days. In fact, when you look at the WPC 7-day rainfall forecast, they're not showing any rain from the mid-Atlantic states. Actually, right down to Florida, whatever rain is being indicated here is extremely light. So most of the eastern U.S. will have little or no precipitation right through the weekend. Starting to see maybe some changes in the long range on the weather models. I'm going to use the wide view because Hurricane Eta is possibly going to be part of the equation when it comes to moisture anyway. It's inland over Nicaragua, and it's going to eventually come back out into the northwestern Caribbean. In the meantime, we've got high pressure here. Look at the high that's out in the Atlantic that extends back into the mid-Atlantic states. And if we stay in a situation where our winds are generally going to be more offshore rather than onshore. In other words, it's a land-based west or west-southwest wind versus, say, a south wind or worse, a south-southeast wind. That would bring in marine layer issues. I'm not thinking that that's going to happen. I think the high is going to stay pretty much in a decent spot to keep us from having any issues. One of the newer changes on the new GFS run is instead of dawdling the tropical system in the Caribbean for many days, it is now lifting it up. Now we'll have to see if this is the beginning of a trend here. It is moving it up over Cuba and into South Florida during Saturday as a tropical storm. And then gradually the moisture from that starts to move up the East Coast, and some rain now is being indicated here, maybe by Tuesday night or Wednesday, as a deep trough from the west swings eastward. But that's so far down the road in terms of the long range. I'm not really going to be too concerned about it for the time being. But of course, we're going to be keeping an eye on Eta, which is just moved inland as a major hurricane on the 10 a.m. advisory. It was at 13.6 north, 83.2 west. Top winds 145 miles an hour, moving west-southwest at 5. And you can see the Hurricane Center's official forecast track, keeping it inland until Friday morning. Then it makes a turn northeast, back out into the northwest Caribbean, and then strengthens as a tropical storm over the weekend. They're slower than what some of the new GFS model is showing, and we'll see if the other global models go along with this. And here's the latest satellite loop, by the way. The eye, with the storm now onshore, we're starting to lose the well-defined eye. So some weakening is going to take place. Make no mistake, there will be devastating rains across Central America out of this because of all the moisture, a ton of tropical moisture. Eta's embedded in a large gyre of moisture that covers the Western Caribbean, and they're going to get clobbered with rainfall there. So we'll see what happens in the coming days as to what the trends are going to be with regards to Eta, and whether some of that rain may eventually work its way up northward toward Florida and points beyond that. All right, folks, that wraps it up for Weather in 5, which is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware Stores on Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. And they are the largest rock salt provider. They've got sand also, and anything you need for tackling winter storms, Omni is your place. 631-756-1125, and they do have the best prices in town. The Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight, 7:30 Eastern Time. Be sure to tune in to that. And we'll see you later.